Tonight we are at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, and we are dining at Cítricos. This just reopened, and we are so excited to be here on the very first night of reopening. And if you don't know, we do dining reviews every single Monday, so be sure to check those out. So yes, tonight is the grand opening night of Cítricos. They have actually refurbished the entire restaurant, and it is beautiful. It actually has a sort of Mary Poppins theme to it. It is a very subtle theme, which is very nice. It feels very elegant and kind of fresh. Everything's nice and bright. There's some blues and purples in the color scheme, and it's just so nice to be back here. It's actually been quite some time since we've been here last, and I am like really excited and like happy about how it looks in here. They have revamped the menu as well, from the cocktails to the full regular food menu. The bar area has changed as well, but it is still in the same place. Same thing where they cook the food, and the desserts are in the same spot as well. I remember when we came here once before, and I stood up near the dessert area and just took pictures every time they came out. So very excited to be back and very excited to try this new menu tonight. So as far as the Mary Poppins theming goes, it's more of the color scheme here in the restaurant and a little bit of the floral decor that they have, but also something very unique that you probably wouldn't notice if nobody told you about it is if you look at the carpet. Whenever Mary Poppins takes her little umbrella parasol and goes up to the sky, when she looks down, it's very cloudy and you can still see the city. So it's like when you're looking at the carpet, it's actually kind of like you are way up high looking down at the city and seeing all the clouds. But also going on with that theme are the specialty zero proof cocktails or non-alcoholic beverages, and they're kind of to be reminiscent of when Mary Poppins gives the children medicine in the movie. There's supposed to be some of them are like color changing, and there's a bunch of different flavors. So I did actually get one of those tonight, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
So to start off this wonderful night here at Cítricos and its reopening, I have got the Agrodolce. This is Saint Germain, Absolute Elix, Ginger Beer, Montasol, and Spumante. It's not bad. I don't get a strong ginger flavor in there, which is kind of something that I was really wanting. I do get the Saint Germain. It actually comes out really well. But it definitely has more of that sparkling wine, champagne kind of taste to it, which is not my favorite. So, not a lot of drinks here on their specialty cocktails that I'm actually a fan of. They do have one rum drink, which is what I should have got. An orange blossom martini, but it's made with rum.
And it's also a martini.
But it's also a martini, so I don't know. But cheers. We're going to order some food, and we'll have that.
So I did not expect my zero proof drink cocktail to be served in a glass like this, which has been seriously cracking us up. However, the drink is good. So I got the Purple Penguin, and as you can tell, this is a drink mostly made for kids, but I am a kid at heart, so it is totally fine. The Purple Penguin is pineapple, peach, lemon, lavender, grenadine, and it's topped with a house-made seltzer. When you look at it, you think that it's gonna be like a purpley, like purple just has a flavor on its own, okay? But I do get the lavender, I do get a little bit of like the peach and like the citrus in there. It's actually a pretty good drink and kind of a cool concept that kids and anybody that doesn't drink or whatever can have a cocktail as well. And I'm sure if you ask, you can get it served in a regular glass.
We've got a bread service still here at Cítricos, which I love. And to top it all off, the bread service here at Cítricos is really what started the butter spreadability scale way back in the day. Actually, it's unfortunate that my sister Mackenzie isn't here.
Pay attention, Josh.
So we've got our drinks, we've got the bread. I have to say that what has been most disappointing so far is the butter. it's cold. You can't spread cold butter. Just can't do it.
But the bread is really good.
How you like the bread?
It's really good. You can't spread cold butter.
I always recommend it.
She's actually going to be coming in down in like a week and a half. And that's where it all got started. But butter, it's probably at a 2 or 3. Did take a little bit of work to spread. But what I love is it has an orange salt to it, which adds a nice kick to it. It's not spicy, of course, but just adds this little punch in with the butter. So very good. Ciabatta's great. I'm definitely going to eat some of the olive bread as well, but a fantastic little way to start your meal. So if you don't want to get an appetizer, you can certainly fill up on bread. For our first courses, we decided to get 2 different appetizers to give you guys a little variety. And I decided to go with the smoked duck breast. This is fresh tagliatelle pasta, puree, and a duck confit. Now the duck confit, I will tell you, is cooked a little bit more on the rare side, but it is still exceptionally tender. And with that being said, it has this amazing, almost kind of like a beef broth like sauce poured over the top, and then the tagliatelle pasta is so tender and amazing, smooth. It's just, man, this is a really, really good appetizer. The duck confit is not very. If you're worried about it being super smoky, it's really not all that smoky, but it does have a nice grill, almost crunch on the outside, and then it's just super, super tender throughout the rest of the duck. So very, very good. I'm glad that we got this. I'm really excited about this place.
We also got the Berkshire pork belly to start. This comes with boniato and plantain croquette, salsa verde, and topped with some jicama. Now, I thought I needed my knife to cut through the pork belly. I was very wrong. All you need is a fork because it is so delicate and tender that it literally just falls apart into your fork. And I love, like I said, it's super tender, but what's really nice is the croquette that comes with it has that crunchiness on the outside, so it gives you a really nice balance of textures. It's not just all one texture, you get a little bit of crunch in there, you get the really nice pork belly, which is super flavorful, and the fat on there is just rendered to perfection. This is probably one of the best appetizers I think I've ever had.
Wow. Wow. You want to just keep that plate over there?
No. For my entree tonight, I had the guava barbecued short ribs. They came with aged cheddar creamy grits, a roasted poblano sauce, a slaw, and a roasted Brussels sprouts. These short ribs were very tender, fall apart, just kind of like the pork belly did as the appetizer. So getting some very tender food tonight, which has been amazing and, really as it should be, but, just really sets it over the top whenever it's cooked perfectly. I really enjoyed that roasted poblano sauce on the bottom. It was kind of that green sauce. When you hear poblano, that's a pepper, so you think maybe it's going to be spicy. It was not at all. It was a nice kind of creamy sauce and went really well with the Brussels sprouts and the short rib. I actually typically do not eat Brussels sprouts, but they looked to be cooked very well. They were nice and roasty, and they were very good. The grits were nice and cheesy because it's kind of like a corn base. You did get some sweetness in there, which is kind of nice. And I was actually a little skeptical about the guava barbecue part of the short rib. This was basically a guava barbecue sauce that's on top of the short rib, and I was beyond pleasantly surprised with the taste of it. It really was just kind of like a sweet barbecue sauce, but you did get that guava flavor in there. Very satisfying, not too sweet. I thoroughly enjoyed. Now, as a side to share, a little enhancement that we got was the truffle macaroni and cheese. This is house-made gnocchiette, summer black truffles, and some other things I cannot pronounce. Hopefully Josh will put those on the screen for you. and some tarragon on top. Sometimes truffle can be a little overpowering. I think in this dish, it wasn't necessarily that the truffle was overpowering, but this was just such a rich mac and cheese. It does come in a pretty small portion, which I think is a good way to share it. If you do really want to try it, because it is so rich, it's not really it's too much for one person to try and eat, I think. Now, if you are looking for like kind of just a traditional mac and cheese that's like creamy cheesy, this is not going to be like that. So just keep that in mind. The gnocchiette, they're basically a pasta that kind of look like gnocchi, but they are a pasta noodle. I would have liked it if it was a little cheesier, but yes, not my favorite thing of the meal. And I hate to say that I don't like something, but my entree was really good.
For my entree tonight, I went with the domestic golden TILEFISH. This is served with Jupiter rice chorizo risotto, Key West pink shrimp, and confit tomatoes. 46 bucks, and it was really good. I will say, I felt like the TILEFISH may have been slightly overdone. It was a little bit on the tougher side, almost chewy. In some instances, almost felt like it was like kind of sticking to your teeth. So, but the highlight of this entire dish was that Jupiter rice chorizo risotto. It was absolutely fantastic. Like, I could have just had a bowl of just that risotto with the chorizo in there. It was amazing. And then it's a nice kind of like little surprise. So the way that it's served with the TILEFISH over top of that bed of risotto, it's a nice little surprise as you kind of dig through there and you just get these random pieces of the Key West pink shrimp in there. Fantastic. And the confit tomatoes, I'm not a huge tomato fan, so I could take them or leave them, but they do add a nice color, different texture, and a little bit of extra flavor to the dish overall. So I still think this was really good. I would certainly still get it again. And to go off of the truffle mac and cheese, if you guys have been watching for a long time, I'm not a fan of truffles, but I'm always willing to give it a try. And this was way too rich for me, so I just had one bite and that was it. But I will say that the macaroni was very, very tender. And I think if you are a real truffle fan, this macaroni and cheese is good for you. $21 though, so just be aware of that. A little bit on the pricier side, but it is truffle, and truffle is expensive, so it's good.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Turkish style coffee service.
Oh, alrighty.
Just
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
I enjoyed that.
So they just brought out coffee, and this is a Turkish style serving of coffee, I guess. I'm not really sure. That's a first for me. The only other time that I've had coffee served differently would be Victoria and Albert's, and the very fancy, like hipster sort of coffee serving. So
Hipster at Victoria and Albert's. I think that was the wrong term.
when you think of like how coffee's made today and the way that they make it there, it is very hipster-like. So it is.
It's fancy.
It's hipster. So for dessert tonight, I was going to go with the orange blossom flan. However, the maitre d' from V&A, who I think now runs Cítricos here, was very gracious, saw that we were recording, and offered to bring us out all 4 desserts, which we are very, very grateful for. Thank you so much. And I'm actually really happy because, like I may have already said, I was going to get the orange blossom flan, which is good, but I enjoyed another dessert even more so. So we'll talk about everything that we've got here. So all 4 desserts, we've got the orange blossom flan. This is blood orange, jelly, orange scented shortbread, orange blossom honey drizzled fruit. We also have the apple rose, served warm with seasonal apples, marzipan, raspberry jam, and frozen coconut milk. We have the blackberry tartelette, lemon, Bavarian, and blackberry mousse, enrobed in Taylor can talk about that one. And then we got the chocolate torte, chocolate financier, dark chocolate ganache, Morello cherries, and vanilla mascarpone cream. Let me start with that one, the chocolate torte. This is very reminiscent of a chocolate-covered cherry that you might get during Christmas time. So it's very rich with the chocolate, a little bit sweet, but has a nice like little sour bite to it from the cherry. And it's very, very good. Not what I was expecting at all, and I love that the chocolate on the top is shaved to almost look like truffles, which is very deceiving to me, but fantastic. The orange blossom flan, this was actually what I was going to get, and I was actually really looking forward to it. I'm glad that we got to try this stuff because this was actually my least favorite of the 4 desserts. Not that it was bad, because it's fantastic. But as far as like flavor goes and texture, and I didn't really know what to expect, this was just for my own personal palate, not my favorite. But what I loved the most here was the apple rose. Absolutely fantastic. Paired with this coconut milk that's frozen almost like an ice cream. It's not ice cream, which was made very clear to us. It's just frozen coconut milk paired with the almost basically like an apple pie with some like almond extract in there, which I really loved. I thought this was fantastic. I would definitely come back and have this again and again. And very, very good.
So the one dessert that Josh did not talk about yet is the blackberry tartelette. This comes with lemon, Bavarian, and blackberry mousse, enrobed in a, oh wait, hold on. The 4th dessert that Josh did not talk about yet is the blackberry tartelette. This is a lemon, Bavarian, and blackberry mousse that is enrobed in a glacage and candied violet. This was the dessert that I really wanted to get. I remember that Cítricos had a wonderful lemon cheesecake back in the day. I know we did it in a video one time. So I was really excited that they did have another lemon dessert on the menu, especially since it's summertime and you think of like fruity things. So the crust on this tart was so nice and flaky. I loved that it wasn't super sweet. The lemon Bavarian in there was so light and airy, and I loved the blackberry and lemon flavors together. That sweet of the blackberry and the tart of the lemon, and this is really overall just such a light dish that, and it's not super sweet, but I love super sweet, but I like how this one was prepared. So amazing. I actually really haven't got to try any of the other desserts yet. I typically do not like almond in dessert. However, there is just the perfect amount in this apple rose that it's not overpowering. So amazing. And I actually love the frozen coconut milk. I thought it was gonna be, I don't know what I thought it was gonna be, but it really does taste like ice cream and it's really good.
So we just finished eating inside at Cítricos for the first time since it's in a long time.
Yes, it's been a while since we've been here, but it just officially reopened today. And we are so excited that we got to be here. I literally can't even believe I got a reservation for it. The day the reservations opened, it was about 8:30 in the morning, and they had a 5:20 p.m. reservation. So I was like, we're going.
Thank you again to the cast members here. Fantastic service. It was really great. Thank you for the desserts.
Yes, Javier was our server. He was awesome. And Israel kind of running the joint. I mean, everything was amazing.
So good. And this is, again, now I will say, it's a little bit on the pricier side. This is a signature style restaurant. This is where you're going to come in and sit down at. It is a little bit on the louder side because of its openness, high ceilings.
Yes.
Sound tends to bounce around a little bit.
It does have the open kitchen as well, but you know, the lighting from the windows, if you get here right when it opens at 5 o'clock, and then they actually did change the lighting in the restaurant itself. It was completely different than from what it was before. but I love the new theming. The food was amazing, and this is like a really weird thing to notice, but the silverware is different than what it was before. It's a little more ornate and has a little design in it, and I just thought it was super pretty.
Yeah, it's a great. If you don't know that it has these nice subtle touches of Mary Poppins in there, which is really nice.
Oh, and there's like a little almost like divider wall that's like a metal type thing, and the chocolate dessert actually had that same like leaf design on the plate, which was really cool that they kind of brought that in there.
Yeah, this is a fantastic restaurant. I mean, it's always been a favorite of ours. Since we went here for the first time in 2017, I want to say.
Something like that.
Roughly.
It's been a while.
We've been back a few times, and of course now it's been reopened and revamped and fresh. It's even better than before. So
it really is.
Fantastic. Overall, I want to say price here, not including our desserts, but with our coffee, drinks, entrees, appetizers, was about $160. So not terrible. That was before tip and with a 10% discount. So keep that in mind. Like I said, it's a little bit on the pricier side, but it's a nice, high-quality food and service here.
So let us know if you have ever been to Cítricos here at Disney's Grand Floridian, and if you plan on coming back to try the new refurbished and revamped restaurant.